Welcome back. I'm Najahe Sherman and for Laverne McGee, and it's time now for our Be Well segment. Today, a trailblazing dancer, the first black woman to take the stage as a Rockette at New York's Radio City Music Hall. But this Rockette's whole world was rocked by a completely unexpected cancer diagnosis. Joining me now from West Orange, New Jersey is Jennifer Jones. She's a colorectal cancer survivor. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So Jennifer, I want to talk to you about your preparation as a dancer. And I ask this because I too am a former professional dancer. And so I know how much exercise and how healthy you have to be to perform that as a job. And when we talk about prevention, we usually think of exercise and diet being a big part of that. So talk to us about sort of your preparation as a Rockette and sort of your mentality on health and maybe how shocking it would have been then to get a diagnosis like this.
Sure. I've been dancing since I was 6 years old. So my parents enrolled me in dance classes. I've been active my entire life. And being in those dance classes went into other things. I'm an avid runner. I did aerobics, weight training, yoga. So I was very much at the top of my game. And so when I auditioned for the Rockettes and when I went on Broadway, I was in a healthy, fit body. And to maintain 6 shows a day, 8 shows a week for Radio City and for Broadway, you have to have a healthy diet. You have to have good sleeping habits. And those were all of the things that I've done to make sure that I was always doing my best at my performances. So when I was diagnosed, it came as a complete shock. I was vegetarian for 30 years. I gave up, seafood was the last thing that I gave up in 1993. And I was supposed to be the healthy one in my family. I was the active one, I was the professional dancer, and I was supposed to be the healthy one, and I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer.
So tell us, so what was the decision or the reason that you decided to have a colonoscopy? Were there symptoms, a family history? What made you decide to have one in the first place?
I had just turned 50, and at that time, it was the age that was recommended to go get a colonoscopy. I was having symptoms. I was feeling a little bloated, gassy. I did not have any pain, but I knew something was off, and I thought, well, maybe it's irritable bowel syndrome. Maybe there's something now that I turned 50 that is wrong, that's, happening with my body. So that was why, and it was always on my calendar to colonoscopy at 50, but that was the major reason why I went. And actually, when I went to see my doctor, the gastro doctor, I asked her if I could be pushed up on the schedule because I knew something was wrong, but I certainly didn't think it was cancer. And she just said, oh, I'll let my scheduler take care of it. And I asked the scheduler, and it was 2 weeks out. They wouldn't put me in sooner.
What kind of advice do you have for people, I think particularly women, when it comes to being checked? Because I think we often think about this as something that's just exclusively for men.
Yes, and for older people. I looked at this disease as an older person's disease. And now we know that it's hitting younger and younger adults at an earlier age. So that is very disconcerting in itself. I would say, listen to your body. If something is wrong, if you don't feel right, if your bowel movements are different, go get a colonoscopy. But there's a lot of people are not happy with the prep. They're not comfortable with the prep, but there are a lot of other options that you can do in your home or do in a doctor's office. That does not require going for a full colonoscopy. However, if a false positive or if a positive result comes back, the best thing to do is to have a colonoscopy done.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and helping educate us about something that we I don't think are as aware of when it comes to women and these issues. Thank you for your tremendous work.